Hi dear Scorpios, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits for the month of April. This year April is quite busy because we've got an eclipse in April, and also we've got a Mercury retrograde, and then we also got the rare conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus in your opposite sign, and at the end of April we got a full moon in Scorpio in your sign. So normally April is a time when you focus mostly on your work routine life, because the planets transit through your sixth house, and the sixth house is responsible for your routine, your work, like the work that you do every day, employees, what else, health and pets. So this is where most of the focus is. And then towards the end of April, when the sun moves into Taurus, so the focus starts shifting towards your relationships. And so let's begin. On the very first day of April, Mercury will station will station retrograde in Aries on the 27th degree of Aries. And normally Mercury retrograde times are the times of miscommunication, because Mercury rules communication. That's why all of the things Mercury related tend to go like haywire. So there is a possibility of misunderstanding, like you say something but the other party doesn't understand, or you misunderstand them. There is high chance of that. And also glitches in like texting, emails, like you send the wrong email, or you forget to attach something to the email, or like you accidentally email to the entire company, or you forget to untag someone who's not supposed to see the email. It's like situations like that. I'm not saying this will definitely happen, it's just trying to describe the general nature. And also, Mercury retrograde times are not good for signing contracts. I would say entire April is not really good for signing contracts. It's not favorable. Agreement, lease, and stuff like that. But to be honest, it's not completely bad. Like last year, there was a situation where I had to sign my work contract during Mercury retrograde, and I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, like, does it mean I will get fired or something? But no, like, so at the time when I signed the contract, they told me that they're negotiating the contract to increase the salaries. So they were like, just sign the old contract, and then when we do reach the agreement, you will re-sign the new one. And actually, that's what happened. So yeah, like even if you do have to sign it in April, just be aware that like the terms will change eventually. And then, what else do I need to mention? So, dear Scorpios, if you're planning to travel in April, make sure that you pack all the things that you need, like first of all, passport or like ID documents, because we tend to become more forgetful during Mercury retrograde. Like last year during Mercury retrograde, I forgot my house keys at work. Like, who does that? And so, like, yes, things like that might happen. Like another time, I forgot my phone at work, like that, which is very ridiculous. Um, so yeah, be mindful of that. And also, there's a higher possibility of like flight delays, flight cancellations. So make sure you know the airline policy in situations like that, because apparently you can get reimbursed in certain situations. So you might be able to look up those videos on TikTok. They have much information. And then also, I would suggest getting one of those Apple tags for your suitcase, because if it gets lost, you can easily locate it. Because, again, Mercury retrograde, things like that, losing your luggage can happen. Like, there's higher chances of that. And also, April is not a good time to buy electronics, because Mercury rules it as well. Like, so you can expect your phone acting weird, or like social media apps being down. Like I knew someone whose fridge broke during Mercury retrograde, so things like that can possibly happen. And I think I mentioned everything when it comes to Mercury retrograde. Look, another thing is, so this time Mercury is retrograde in Aries, right? So there might be a bit more like aggressive communication, like impulsive communication, like impulsively saying something that like you regret later. That is also possible. And if other people are acting like that, just be aware that it's all because of Mercury retrograde in Aries. Try to be patient with others and with yourself. Don't be provoked by aggressive speech. And so, after this, on April 4th or 5th, depending on where you live, Venus will enter Aries until April 29th. And so, this will be in your sixth house. So, again, like Mercury will retrograde in your sixth house as well. So, I forgot to mention that. So when Mercury is retrograde in your sixth house, there might be a need to go back to some project, like unfinished project at work. Because again, like remember, sixth house rules work. Going back to something to redo it, try it again, fix it. Mercury retrograde is perfect for that. And so Venus will also enter your sixth house, and Venus's pleasant energy will make work-life routine much more pleasant. Like interactions with coworkers should also be much more smooth during this period. And generally, when Venus is transiting Aries, we all tend to become bolder, more confident, and assertive, and more charming when it comes to romance. Because Venus rules romance, and Aries is very assertive. Like it's the first sign; it makes the first moves. So when Venus is in Aries, people tend to become more brave, like when it comes to approaching the person they like and asking them out. So, dear Scorpios, I'm not saying you have any problems with confidence. I'm just saying that, like, during this period, you might ask someone out, or someone will ask you out if you are single. This is a kind of transit. And so, after this, on April 8th, we've got the new moon solar eclipse in Aries on the 19th degree of Aries, dear Scorpios. For you, again, this is your sixth house. And remember, in the beginning of the video, I said that April is heavily focused on your work. So, again, this solar eclipse is like a huge emphasis. You don't get North Node Aries eclipses in your sixth house very often, like once every 18 years only. So try to remember back in 2005 and 2006, like how was your work life affected? Like what happened to you in your work life? How was your health in 2005 and 2006? Did you have a pet? Did you get a pet back then? Or did something significant happen to your pet back then? Because all of those themes are ruled by your sixth house. What about like your diet? What about your exercise routine? Again, those are all sixth house matters. You can expect similar themes to repeat this time. Like maybe adjustment at work, changes at work, like coworkers changing, maybe you change your employment or make employment decisions, like maybe you decide to quit, maybe you decide to, I don't know, hire new people if you are a business owner, okay, because sixth house also rules employees, the people we hire to help us. So big changes in that area of your life. I'm going to try to make a separate video for the solar eclipse, and I'll try to provide more details in there. All right, so make sure you check out that video. So generally, like the sixth house I mentioned, and also this eclipse doesn't have any bad aspects, thankfully, and the only major aspect it makes is a conjunction with Chiron. It will be an exact conjunction, and since there are no bad aspects, I think this eclipse will kind of like show the healing side of Chiron. And so if you are having health issues, like this is like a good sign. All right. And so after this solar eclipse, we've got Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde in Aries on the 22nd degree of Aries, and this conjunction will happen on April 11th. And so this conjunction marks an important point in the Mercury retrograde journey, because you know Mercury retrograde starts when the Mercury gets a bit too far away from the Sun. So during retrograde, it starts slowly going back towards the Sun. And so on April 11th, they will meet. And after this, Mercury will get behind the Sun. So Mercury will switch from evening phase to morning phase. So it's like a different level of like a different exhibition of Mercury qualities. I'm like struggling to find the right words. English is not my native language. And so during that conjunction, we will come to some sort of clarity, understanding, but from within. All right? And because normally when the Mercury is direct and conjunct the Sun, it's on the other side of the Sun from the Earth's point of view. But when it's retrograde and conjunct the Sun, Mercury is between the Sun and the Earth. So like the Mercury energy is internalized. And so whatever clarity, understanding that will come to, it's from within. And so during this time, you can expect like clarity, big ideas, and also I guess passionate speeches from leaders around this time. We'll see. And then on April 19th, the Sun will enter Taurus, your seventh house, as it always does around this time every year. And also on the same day that Sun enters Mercury and Sun enters Taurus, Mercury will be conjunct Venus in Aries. And so this should be like a good day for communication. The agreements, conversations, discussions should go smoothly thanks to the help of Venus, even though Mercury is still technically retrograde, but things should go smoothly on that day. And one day after this, we've got this wonderful conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus. This conjunction is rare. It happens once every like 13 to 14 years. And last time we had this conjunction, Uranus was still in Aries and Jupiter was in Aries, and that was like in 2011. So this time it's happening in Taurus, and next time it will happen in Gemini in like 13 to 14 years from now. And so, dear Scorpios, this is very rare, and this is happening in your relationship house, so this is very impactful for you. And Scorpios, those of you who have your sun or rising sign around the 21st degree are going to feel it more than other Scorpios. What is this conjunction about? Uranus is about innovation, technology, science, everything like futuristic, everything that propels society forward, so to speak. All of these things are ruled by Uranus. And Jupiter, on the other hand, is the biggest planet in our solar system. It expands whatever it touches. Okay, it's like a blessing. It's because it's a greater benefic. And so Jupiter's presence adds like positivity into it. And so it's like a positive expansion, positive developments, positive advances. And so since we got Taurus also involved in this, there might be like some innovation in the food industry, finances, all right? And you can expect a burst of excitement, adventure, bold changes in your relationship area, the area where you deal with other people. Okay, like it can also be like business partnerships too, your spouse. All of these things are going to get this blessing from this conjunction. So one day after this good aspect, we've got a bit of a crappy aspect happening. So one day after this conjunction, the Sun in Taurus will be making a square to Pluto in Aquarius on the 2nd degree of Aquarius. So this can be a bit of like a power struggle day, but don't worry, this is a very short-lived aspect. It's going to be active for like 3 days maximum. And after that, on April 23rd, we've got a full moon in Scorpio on the 4th degree of Scorpio. So dear Scorpios, like I would say the October Scorpios, those who were born around the 25th of October, you guys are going to feel this full moon more than other Scorpios. Or those of you who have your rising sign or your moon sign around the 4th degree, you will feel it the most. And so one thing I need to mention about this full moon is that it's the first full moon since the Libra lunar eclipse in March. And so if nothing happened to you around that eclipse, it might mean that it will happen around this full moon, because that tends to happen sometimes. So generally full moons are the times of culmination, illumination, clarity, when we like understand what the issue is, because like the moon is illuminated, right, completely, so we see the whole problem completely. Or it can be like in a positive way, culmination, achievement, so you are like celebrating. A lot of celebrations happen around full moon, like weddings and stuff. So that is the nature of the full moon. And so, dear Scorpio, since this is happening in your first house, so that means something like major culmination maybe coming into like in your life, and like your personality, your appearance, your character, all of those things. The sun will be shining in your 7th house, so it will be about like me and others, like me and relationships, like that kind of energy. And so generally remember, around full moons people are emotional, moody. Emergency workers, policemen, they know that around full moons people tend to act up because they get much more calls around full moons. And even the word lunatic comes from the word luna, right? The moon. And so yeah, expect people to be excessively emotional around this time. You yourself might be emotional around this time, and it's not necessarily bad. It's just our cups are filled with emotions around full moons. And so around this period, towards the end of April, I would say try to be patient with yourself, try to be patient with others. This is all temporary. The full moon effect usually lasts like 4 days after the full moon, and after that it will slowly wane. And then on April 25th, Mercury will finally station direct in Aries. And that means the period of confusion, forgetfulness, miscommunication, misunderstanding is finally going to come to an end. And but I wouldn't rush to signing contract agreements right away. I would say try to wait until May, or even better until mid-May, because Mercury will be out of its shadow zone by then. And then on April 29th, Venus will enter Taurus until May 23rd. And that means Venus will enter your relationship house. So it will bring harmony to your partnerships, one-on-one interactions, balanced energy. It will be easier to resolve whatever happens. It can be a romantic time if you're in a relationship. So Venus's balancing energy is very pleasant in the 7th house. Venus feels very comfortable there. And since Venus rules Taurus, it's like extra comfortable. And then on April 30th, we've got Mars entering Aries until June 9th. And so, again, Mars feels comfortable in Aries. It's in its own sign. And so Mars is going to bring this hyperactive energy into your work sector. And so that means work life might be quite busy in May, because it's going to enter Aries on April 30th, which is at the very end of April. So you're going to feel this in May until like early June. Like work life will be active, like go, 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 work, 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 like hurry up, that kind of energy. It can be useful to get a lot of things done at work. So that should be helpful. And so, dear Scorpios, this is it for the month of April. As I said, there are 4 major events, and remember, at the very beginning of April, Mercury will go retrograde, and it can cause problems in communications, delays, and it can be very frustrating. But keep in mind that it's only for 3.5 weeks, and then it will station direct towards the end of April. And then another major event is the solar eclipse in Aries, in your health house, work house. And then the conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus in your 7th house, and finally the full moon in your sign. So some sort of combination, illumination in regards to your personality. And so, dear Scorpios, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. I will try to make a separate video for my solar eclipse, so make sure you check it out, and I hope to see you guys in my May video. Bye!